I'm sure you have been watching Agbor Balla 8 years ago. The video was brought in strategically because we wanted you to watch as we give a backdrop to ask some questions. What happened? Agbor Balla, what happened? So I have with me in the studio Commander Fombat, Commander Elvis, Barrister Tim Besia. But before we even get into the discussion of tonight, I'd like to ask again, Barrister Agbor Balla, what happened? Let's hear him again for a few seconds. Just listen to him.
It means that when something is not working, and when you follow the case of the Scapol versus Cameroon, where the African Commission said that the Southern Cameroonians are a people, meaning that a people in international law, they have certain rights, they have certain characteristics which must be respected. And let's not forget that the law makes provision for the right to self-determination. Because self-determination could be internal or external. It is evident in our OAU charter, which was taken to AU. And internal could be a federal structure. External could be the worst case of a secession. When we fear the taboo situation, if you look at the Ethiopian constitution, there's a right to secede in the Ethiopian constitution. We are not there in this country. But when you say that we cannot have a federal structure because we are going for, I'm telling you that sitting here today, it might not be in my lifetime.
Not federal, simple.
It might not. No, excuse me.
Excuse me.
It might not be in my lifetime. We shall get a federal structure. Because when you don't accept the federal structure, the day you will come on the table to discuss about federalism, people will say we don't want it any longer. We have a right to self-determination. We have a right. Secession is a right in international law. Let's not, because
I want to cue in from there. The day you will come back to talk about federation, people will say we don't want it anymore. Secession or whatever he calls it is a right in international law, and nobody could have been right more than you at that time, Barrister Agbor Balla. Brother, I ask again, what happened? At the time Agbor Balla was speaking, he was the chair of the Cameroon Consortium, a consortium that was made up of civil, or should I say, civil rights organizations, the Teachers Trade Union, and many other trade unions. It was a consortium of those who thought that change would have to take place. You had the Lawyers Association was part of that consortium, and that is how he was chair. At the time, Deacon Tassang Wilfred was the vice of that consortium. But a few days later, we realize that the man behind that consortium that had the spirit of the time and the spirit of the people was Deacon Tassang. Today is a very important day in history, and we cannot take it for granted. So almost 8 years ago, Tassang Wilfred, who was the chair for the Teachers Trade Union, emerged as a pivotal figure within the Amba consortium, making indelible history. Today, the people of Southern Cameroons continue to religiously observe Monday Ghost Town, underscoring the enduring impact of his leadership and advocacy. This lasting tradition highlights the community's steadfast commitment to their cause and serves as a powerful reminder of the sacrifices and struggles faced in their pursuit of justice and recognition. But how did this all begin? I have a beautiful video here which I want you to look at it. How did it all start? Where was the energy coming from? Let's watch.
Our houses, businesses will not open, taxis, bends again, nobody will work, schools will not open, parents should not send their kids to school.
It was rumored that the teachers' trade unions have received a bribe, and the consortium took this opportunity to clear the air.
Professor, what's his name again? Gogomo. I want to inform Anglophone Cameroon that Professor Gogomo was a teacher in GTHS Bamenda before he went back to school and got to become a professor, and that he has desecrated professorship, and that he would not address justice, he would not address issues of injustice, shows that he is doing everything to protect his position as a privileged slave in this country. By Monday, we will know whether Yaoundé controls Anglophone Cameroon or we control our country, because when they are doling out huge sums of money that people won't be able to go to. The issues that we have raised are community issues, and everybody has an interest. That's why everybody is coming on board, putting their own contributions. After Monday, we will think of what else to do that would bring this government down on its knees, if by Monday we don't see them crawling and creeping.
They ended by calling on Anglophone Cameroonians to await an official press conference.
After Monday, we will devise what we need to do that will bring this country down to its knees. That was Deacon Tassang, who was vice for the Anglophone Consortium. Ambazonians, it's been 8 years and counting. And we can audaciously tell the cabal in Yaoundé, once again, that if they do not pull out their troops, their forces of occupation, which are intruding and taking the lives of innocent civilians in our land, they will soon learn who truly owns Amazonia. Today, we have initiated a nationwide lockdown that started on Saturday across the entire territory of Amazonia. The streets, as you would have seen, are unapologetically deserted, from Ekiliwindi to Munyenge, from Abakwa to Ebeko, from Bui to Meme. Everywhere in Amazonia is under lockdown. So who is in control? Like Deacon Tassang said 8 years ago. La République du Cameroon's attempt to falsely convince the international community that normalcy is returning have been decisively, starting today, disproved. The unwavering sacrifices of and commitment of the people of Amazonia to respect lockdowns and ghost towns are a testament to this reality. Now, before we even begin our conversation, I want us to get again, when we talk about Cameroon's intrusion and invasion of our national territory and the disrespect of human rights. There was an interview, even at the time, that Agbor Balla, so many would say, had sold out, was detained for about 8 months and released, and had an interview with Mimi Mefo of Equinox Television, and this was what he had to say.
But how would the accountability be when this crisis is highly underreported? Because we have the impression that, like you said, freedom of speech and expression is highly being suppressed. You see what journalists are going through on a daily basis. How would there be accountability when the crisis is underreported?
Yeah, this is one of the most underreported crises in the entire world. The human rights violations in Cameroon, in the southwest and northwest, is horrible. It's horrible. The number of people who have been killed, I don't think the international community is aware of the extent of the damages that has been done and committed on the people. And yes, because government has something to hide, they don't want journalists to freely report. Reporting now would amount to terrorism, would amount to apology to the terrorists. So at the end of the day, they are trying to cover up what is happening. But we have documented cases that have been reported, cases where government himself had acknowledged the fact that the soldiers committed such violations, but we don't know when they are tried, because the person perception of impunity is contributing to the violence in this country. When those who are fighting for the rights of people, those who are fighting for separation, or those who clamored for separation were arrested, the trial was made in public. Seseko Ayuk and others were brought to court the other day. We saw them. They are going to face.
So there should be justice on both sides.
So you don't just try Seseko Ayuk, Tabe, Eyambe, Tassang, and co, and then you try the others in camera. No. We have to, if there is supposed to be fairness, if there is supposed to be balance, we need to know also that they have been tried. We need to also know that they were taken to the principal prison in Konengi, or or Ida had said. We need to.
So much for us to talk about there. Now the question will go to you, Mimi Mefo. What happened? How could you so soon forget how you got to the spotlight? The young, beautiful girl that you were at the time, freshly graduated from the university, and you were reporting and asking hard questions that all the traditional journalists, the senior journalists we knew in the Cameroons, could not ask. And the people believed in you and stood for you. That's how you got for yourself an international job. Today, the kind of journalism that your blog does is simply unacceptable. Very unfair, inaccurate. You have suddenly forgotten that there are people who stood for you when you were illegally arrested and unfortunately detained at no bail. We all came out aggressively, unwaveringly, massively, and Cameroon knew that you had to be released. You've been granted international protection, and you've forgotten that you have a fight to free the same people who stood for you.